If you're a man facing divorce, here's the hard truth. The system is not built in your favor. The moment papers are filed, you're already at risk of losing your house, your money, and even your kids. Too many men walk into divorce thinking it's going to be fair, that the judge will simply see the truth and protect them. But that's the quickest way to get blindsided. Divorce isn't a fair fight. Divorce is war. And in war, the man without a strategy always loses. But here's the good news. There are rules. Battle-tested strategies that can protect what matters most. If you know them, you can walk out stronger, with your future still in your hands. If you don't, you risk losing everything. In this video, I'm going to share the 11 rules every man needs to know before stepping foot into divorce court. These are the same rules most guys never hear until it's too late. And before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because this channel is all about giving men the real strategies they need to survive divorce and come out ahead. You don't want to miss the next piece of advice that could save your future. Gentlemen, let's get into rule number 1. Here's the first rule, and it's one most men learn the hard way. If you want it, keep it. It sounds simple, but you'd be surprised how many guys give up what matters most because they think it'll work out later. They move out of the house to keep the peace. They leave the kids behind because they don't want to fight. They assume that furniture, cars, or valuables will still be there once things calm down. But here's the reality. In divorce, possession equals power. If she's living in the house, the court often sees that as stability. If she's been the one caring for the kids day to day, that looks like custody. And if she's holding onto your property, good luck convincing a judge to take it away from her and hand it back to you. Temporary possession has a nasty habit of turning into permanent possession. Judges like consistency. They don't want to uproot kids or disrupt what already looks stable. So if you walk away from the home, from the kids, or from your valuables, you've already handed her the upper hand. So here's the bottom line. If it matters to you, don't leave it behind. Stay in the home if you want the home. Stay with the kids if you want custody. And if there are certain things you absolutely don't want her walking away with, secure them in a safe place now, not later. Because once she has it, it's 10 times harder to get it back. And this is just the first move. Because even if you keep what you want, the next mistake most men make is wasting their time and money where it counts most. That's where rule number 2 comes in. Here's something most men don't realize until the bill shows up. Lawyers charge by the minute. And whether you're sitting there talking about strategy or telling your life story, the cost is exactly the same. I've seen too many guys walk into a meeting with their lawyer, sit down, and spend the first half hour unloading their frustrations, talking about how unfair things feel, how angry they are, or how badly their wife treated them. Now, it's natural to want to vent. But remember, every sigh, every tangent, every story from 10 years ago, it's all being billed at the same high hourly rate. That's money wasted. Money that could have been used to actually protect your kids, your assets, and your future. Here's the smarter move. Treat your time with your lawyer like a business meeting. Go in prepared. Have a list of your assets, debts, and key concerns. Write down your top questions. Prioritize what's most important to you. Custody, the house, your retirement accounts, so you're not fumbling to remember it during the meeting. And when you're there, get straight to the point. This isn't about making a new friend. This isn't therapy. It's about walking out with a plan. Because here's the truth. The man who comes in organized and focused gets the most value out of every dollar he spends. The man who rambles and complains, he just pays more and leaves with less. So don't waste time. Be sharp, be clear, and make every minute with your lawyer count. But saving time is just the beginning. Because the real winners in divorce aren't the ones who just save money. They're the ones who think 2 steps ahead. That's where rule number 3 comes in. Divorce is not about reacting, it's about planning. And the men who treat it like a chess match, who think 2, 3, even 4 moves ahead, are the ones who walk away with what matters most. Too many guys get blindsided, they get served papers, and instantly go into panic mode. They react emotionally, sending angry texts, storming out of the house, or making promises they regret later. And by the time the dust settles, they've already lost ground they can't get back. That's what happens when you fight with emotion instead of strategy. The smarter move? Think like a general preparing for war. Before you make a move, sit down and map out the entire battlefield. Where are you going to live? What's your custody plan? What assets are you willing to fight for? And what can you compromise on? And here's something most men forget. You can't win everything. If you go into divorce swinging for 100% of the pie, you'll burn yourself out and end up with nothing. You need to decide what's non-negotiable, your kids, your retirement, your business, and where you're willing to bend. But don't stop there. Think about her priorities too. What's she going to fight for? What's she likely to give up? Knowing her game plan lets you prepare your counter before she even makes her move. The better your plan, the stronger your position. And when the fighting starts, it won't be a scramble. It'll be execution. Because here's the cold truth. In divorce, the man who plans wins. The man who reacts loses. And if you really want to take control, don't just plan. Make the first strike. That's what rule number 4 is all about. Most men hesitate to be the one who files for divorce. They think waiting will make them look reasonable, or they're hoping things will somehow work themselves out. But in divorce, waiting doesn't give you an advantage. It gives away your power. Here's the truth. The person who files first is called the petitioner. And being the petitioner puts you in control of the fight. Why? Because when you file first, you get to set the stage. Your petition frames the issues. Your lawyer speaks first in hearings. The court reads your side of the story before hers. And you dictate the timeline of how the case moves forward. Meanwhile, your wife is stuck reacting. She's playing catch-up on the issues you've already outlined and on the schedule you've already set. Instead of dictating the game, she's chasing it. Now, filing first isn't an instant victory. It's not a magic bullet. But it's like walking into a boxing match with the high ground. You start ahead. You're on the offensive, not scrambling to defend yourself. So if you're serious about protecting your kids, your assets, and your future, don't sit back and wait. Filing first sends a clear message. You're not here to beg. You're here to fight. And hey, if this advice is hitting home, make sure you subscribe right now, because the next rules I'm about to share are the ones most men never hear until it's too late. These strategies can mean the difference between losing everything and walking out stronger. Now, let's move into rule number 5, because those so-called temporary orders judges hand out early, they have a way of deciding the rest of your case. Here's a mistake that costs men more than almost anything else: treating the first court hearing like it doesn't matter. They hear the word temporary and think it's just a placeholder, something that will get fixed later. Wrong. Judges hate changing their own rulings. If they give your wife custody in the temporary orders, guess what? That usually becomes the custody arrangement. If she gets the house or certain financial terms in that first round, odds are that's what sticks until the end. Think of temporary orders like wet cement. In the beginning, they look flexible. You think you can reshape them, but give them time, and they harden. And once they do, you're stuck. That's why you have to prepare for the first hearing like it's the final battle. Line up your documents, line up your witnesses, get your story straight, and be ready to prove it. Because winning early makes the rest of the case easier. Losing early? You'll spend the rest of the divorce climbing uphill. Here's the rule. Fight like your life depends on that first round, because in many ways, it does. And even if you win in court, there's another battlefield where men sabotage themselves without even realizing it, their own words. That brings us to rule number 6. Divorce makes men emotional. You're angry, you're frustrated, and you want to let it out. But here's the harsh truth. Every word you say can and will be used against you. I've seen men lose custody battles over a single text message, one angry line like, "You'll never see the kids again," written in the heat of the moment, gets twisted in court as proof of being controlling or unfit as a father. Emails, text messages, voicemails, even Facebook posts, they're all potential evidence. And trust me, your ex and her lawyer will be digging for anything they can use to make you look bad. So here's the rule. Don't say, don't write, and don't post anything you wouldn't want read out loud to the judge. Walk away from arguments, hang up instead of shouting into the phone, and stay off social media when you're angry. It's one of the fastest ways to sabotage your own case. Remember, in divorce, silence is often safer than speaking. Because once those words are out, you can't take them back. And here's the kicker. Your words aren't the only thing under the microscope. Judges also look at your actions. If your lifestyle doesn't match the story you're telling in court, you're setting yourself up for failure. That's where rule number 7 comes in. One of the fastest ways men lose credibility in divorce court is when their actions don't match their words. Judges don't just read legal documents, they watch how you live. And if your lifestyle doesn't line up with what you're asking for, you're done. Want custody of your kids? Then show up for them. Every time. Be on time for visitation, don't miss a single pickup, and make yourself fully available. If you're asking for more parenting time but you're skipping weekends or showing up late, the judge will assume you're not serious about being a full-time father, claiming you can't afford the financial demands your ex is making. Then don't go out and buy a new car or post photos from a Vegas vacation. That's the fastest way to destroy your credibility. Here's the truth. Your lifestyle is your best evidence. If you want the court to believe you, live the life you're claiming in court. Because if your wife can prove your words and your actions don't match, she just won the case for free. So remember, in divorce, consistency is power. Live the life you say you lead. And if this is hitting home, do me a favor. Subscribe right now and drop a comment below. Let me know which rule has opened your eyes the most so far. Your story might help another man going through the same fight. Now, let's move on to rule number 8, because if you think bending the truth will help you, it won't. Lying in divorce court is the fastest way to destroy yourself. When the pressure's on, a lot of men are tempted to bend the truth. Maybe it's hiding a little income, downplaying an asset, or stretching the story to make their wife look worse. In the moment, it feels smart. It feels like you're protecting yourself. But here's the reality. The moment a judge catches you in one lie, your credibility is gone. It doesn't matter if you were honest about everything else. If the court decides you lied once, they'll assume you're lying about everything. And guess what that does? It hands your wife the high ground. Suddenly, she's the one who looks honest, believable, and credible. Even if she's stretching the truth too, the judge won't care. You already poisoned your own reputation. Lies have a way of surfacing. Bank statements, tax records, social media posts, witness testimony. It all comes out eventually. And when it does, that small lie you thought would protect you ends up costing you custody, money, and respect in court. Here's the bottom line. Don't lie. Face the truth, deal with it head on, and fight smart. Judges respect men who own their situation, even if it's not perfect. They have zero respect for liars. Because once your credibility is gone, the case is already lost. Now, even when the divorce is over, there's another trap men fall into, holding on to the fight long after it's finished. That's where rule number 9 comes in. Here's a truth most men struggle with. Once the divorce is final, it's done. Too many guys waste years of their life stuck in the fight long after the court papers are signed. They replay every argument, rehash every loss, and keep feeding the anger. But here's the problem. Dwelling doesn't change the outcome. You won't get the house back. You won't undo the custody ruling. You won't claw back money already gone. All that energy spent obsessing over the past only drains the life you still have left. Divorce already costs you enough, financially, emotionally, mentally. Don't let it keep costing you long after it's over. The smartest men treat divorce like a wound. Painful, yes, but something that heals if you stop picking at it. Instead of clinging to what you lost, focus on what's ahead. Your kids still need you. Your finances can be rebuilt. Your future is wide open, but only if you stop dragging the weight of your ex behind you. Here's the rule. Don't dwell, don't stew, and don't keep fighting battles that are already over. Move forward. Because life after divorce can actually be better if you let it. But here's the thing. Even when you move on, you need to be smart about what you share. Because bragging about your success after divorce, that's one of the fastest ways to get pulled right back into court. That's rule number 10. After divorce, a lot of men finally start catching their breath. Maybe you land a raise. Maybe you buy a new car, get a promotion, or even come into some inheritance money. It feels good, and you want to share it with the world. But here's the problem. The moment your ex finds out, she may use it against you. More income? She pushes for more child support, a better lifestyle. She argues for higher alimony. Even something like a bonus or a gift can be enough for her lawyer to drag you back into court. And you know what makes it worse? Social media. Too many men brag about their success online, posting photos of vacations, new purchases, or celebrations. And it doesn't take much for those posts to end up as evidence that you can afford to pay more. So here's the rule. Play it smart. Keep your wins to yourself. Live your life, enjoy your success, but don't broadcast it. The less she knows, the less she can demand. Remember, your future is yours now. Don't hand her a reason to come back for another round. If you're finding these rules eye-opening, hit that like button and subscribe right now. This channel is all about giving men the strategies they need to protect themselves, their kids, and their future during divorce. And trust me, the final rule coming up is one you can't afford to ignore. Because rule number 11 is about the biggest mistake men make after divorce, the mistake that lands them right back in court. Let's talk about it. Here's the last rule, and it might be the most important one for your future. Don't rush into another marriage. Divorce takes a heavy toll, financially, emotionally, and mentally. But too many men make the mistake of jumping straight into another relationship, thinking it will fix the loneliness, the emptiness, or the pain. They call it a fresh start. But most of the time, it's just another disaster waiting to happen. Rebound marriages fail at a much higher rate than first marriages. Why? Because the wounds from the first one are still there. The anger, the resentment, the fear, it doesn't just disappear because you found someone new. And if you rush, you risk repeating the exact same mistakes, only this time you're starting weaker, less money, more obligations, and the scars of your first divorce. Here's the truth. Marriage isn't something you fix yourself with. It's something you commit to when you know, without doubt, that it's the right match for the long haul. Until then, focus on rebuilding your life. Focus on your kids, your career, your health, and your freedom. Because the last thing you want is to pay the emotional and financial price of divorce all over again. Gentlemen, wait until you're ready. Wait until it's real. Don't let loneliness trick you into another costly mistake. So there you have it, gentlemen, the 11 rules every man must know before stepping foot into divorce court. Follow these rules, and you'll walk into divorce prepared, disciplined, and ready to protect what matters most: your kids, your money, and your future. Ignore them, and you'll learn the hard way how unforgiving the system can be. Now, let me ask you this. Which of these rules hit you the hardest? Was it about keeping possession, fighting for custody, or realizing how much social media can ruin your case? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear your story because other men can learn from it too. And if this video opened your eyes, do 2 quick things right now. Hit the like button. It helps spread this advice to more men who need it. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because this channel is here to give you the strategies no one else will, so you don't walk into divorce blind. Divorce isn't fair. It's not easy. But with the right strategy, you don't just survive it, you win it. Stay smart, stay focused, and I'll see you in the next one.